बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि.
Namaste. Welcome to the KJ Somaya Institute of Dharma Studies. Today, we shall dive into the Vidhur Pandita Jataka. The stories that describe the journey of the Bodhisattva towards Buddhahood are called the Jatakas. They have been narrated by the Buddha himself to his disciples to teach them the Dhamma. Through this story, we shall learn about Vidhur Pandita, a great and wise counselor who was an incarnation of the Bodhisattva. This story is from the time when King Dhananjaya ruled the kingdom of Kuru with Indrapatta as its capital. The Jatakas have been depicted beautifully in the paintings at the Ajanta caves near Aurangabad. These paintings are truly a work of wonder. Dating back to the 2nd century BC, they are wonderfully emotive and a reflection of the stellar artistry from those times, which stand preserved to this day. Many wonderful depictions of the Jatakas are found in the remnants of the Bharut Stupa, which was built by Emperor Ashoka and then discovered by Alexander Cunningham in 1873. These remnants are now housed across various museums around the world. Now, onto the story itself. In his past lives, King Dhananjaya of Kuru had been friends with 3 kings: Sakka, the king of the Devas; Varuna, the king of the Nagas; and Venatya, the king of the Supannas or Garudas. One day, their conversations turned to arguments as each one declared himself to be the one of superior virtue. Unable to resolve this matter amongst themselves, they consulted Vidhur Pandita, King Dhananjaya's minister, who was universally acclaimed as a wise and a just man. Vidhur Pandita, in his calm voice, declared that they were all equally virtuous, just like the 4 spokes of one wheel. Delighted upon hearing this, the Naga king Varuna offered Vidhur Pandita his jeweled necklace. Now, when the Naga king returned to the palace, his wife Vimala noticed that the necklace was missing. The Naga king narrated the day's events to her, and she now longed to meet Vidhur Pandita herself. To ensure that the king would invite him over, she pretended to be gravely ill. "O Lord, if you truly love me, bring me the heart of Vidhur," she cried, declaring that only that would cure her. As depicted in the paintings at the Ajanta caves, the Naga king found himself in a quandary and was deeply distressed. He shared his troubles with his daughter, the beautiful Princess Irandati, and asked her if she could find a suitor who could bring Vidhur Pandita's heart and save her mother. Irandati, eager to find a suitor anyway, gathered all the beautiful and scented flowers of the Himalayas and decorated a gorgeous swing for herself. Dressing up in her finest silks and jewelry, she reclined on that swing. That was the time when the Yakka general Punakka was flying over the Naga kingdom on his white-winged horse. He saw the lovely Irandati singing a melodious song and fell head over heels in love with her. Descending to greet her, he won her heart with his handsome looks and charming conversations. Not one to wait around, General Punakka went to King Varuna and asked for Irandati's hand in marriage. He offered 100 elephants, 100 horses, 100 mules and chariots, and 100 wagons filled with all sorts of gems as gifts. Varuna saw the opportunity and told Yakka that he could marry his daughter if he brought them the heart of Vidhur Pandita. Punakka was so besotted with the princess that he accepted the condition and immediately set off to Indrapatta. He knew King Dhananjaya's weakness for gambling and challenged him to a game of dice. He offered his wonderful steed and a magical gem of lapis lazuli at stake. The king put on his own stakes, but Punakka rejected them all, saying that the only real gem that could compete with his stakes was Vidhur Pandita. Unable to control his desire for gambling, the king accepted, and so the game was on. It was only a matter of time before the king lost, and to the horror of the court, Vidhur Pandita was handed over to Punakka. Flying on his horse with Vidhura on the back, Punakka reached a secluded place on a dark hillock called Kalapabbat. There, he changed form into a demon and grabbed Vidhur Pandita by his ankle, roaring loudly as though he were going to devour him. But the Bodhisattva was unmoved, and not a hair of his body stood on end. Punakka went to assume different forms, that of an angry lion, a furious elephant, a poisonous snake, all the while hoping that Vidhur Pandita would drop dead with fright. But he stayed calm amidst the storm. Finally, he picked up Vidura and decided to fling him off the mountain. He swung him around wildly, and just as he was about to throw him down the precipice, the Bodhisattva, that is Vidura, asked him, "Why do you want to kill me?" Punakka narrated the story so far, and Vidura immediately understood that it was the Naga queen's desire to hear him, which was the reason for all of this torture. The Bodhisattva instructed Punakka in the 4 great deeds of a great man. Punakka's heart was filled with regret, and he decided to set him free back home in Indapatta, but Vidhur Pandita knew that Punakka was deeply in love with Irandati, the Naga princess, and he wanted to help him. "Take me to the Naga king," he said. Punakka was surprised. Why should he want to visit those who had sought to kill him? But Vidhur Pandita insisted. In the presence of the great Naga king, Vidhur Pandita showed no fear, no anger, or no distress. He engaged the king in a discussion that won over his heart. The king then took the Bodhisattva into Queen Vimala's presence so that her heart too would calm down and be nourished with his wisdom. Soon, Punakka and Irandati were happily married, and Punakka took Vidhur Pandita back to Indapatta, presenting King Dhananjaya his great magical gem. The Bodhisattva was welcomed back with great fanfare and celebrations, which continued on for weeks. He taught the great assembly law, counseled the king to the end of his days, and became destined for heaven. The Vidhur Pandita Jataka shows us how important it is to cultivate wisdom and compassion, the twin virtues that can help us navigate through the storms that we encounter in our lives. We are constantly faced with aggressive and intimidating behavior, as everyone struggles to make their own mark in this world. Vidhur Pandita inspires us to pause, to reflect, and to commit to that which brings enduring happiness. It shows us how one committed to the Dhamma can bring rest and relief in a challenging world. Thank you.
Chumripsur, Namaste, Namo Buddhaya. On the occasion of the 75th anniversary of India's independence and the 70th anniversary of India-Cambodia relations, Embassy of India, in association with Venerable Kusofit, is proud to present a series on the Jataka tales. The series will present India-Cambodia Buddhist linkages as well as show various Buddhist pilgrimages sites such as Sarnath, Bharuch, and Ajanta. Venerable Kusofit, for our Indian audience, is a very respected monk in Cambodia. I now invite Venerable to say a few words about this series.
សូមថ្វាយបង្គំនិងចម្រើនពរញាតិញោមបងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាថ្ងៃនេះសប្បាយចិត្តដោយលោកទាវ Deviani ជាទូតរបស់ប្រធានរដ្ឋឥណ្ឌាបានរៀបចំជាដកតាក់ទងនឹងដំណើរការនៃការបំពេញបារមីរបស់ព្រះសម្មាសម្ពុទ្ធសប្បាយចិត្តនឹងចូលរួមជាមួយនឹងស្ថានទូតឥណ្ឌាជាពិសេសការចូលរួមពីលោកទាវក្នុងការផ្សព្វផ្សាយនៅរឿងជាដកជាដំណើរនៃការបំពេញបារមីរបស់ព្រះសម្មាសម្ពុទ្ធជាប្រយោជន៍ដល់សាធារណជនជាពិសេសយុវជនដើម្បីសិក្សារៀនសូត្រនិងអភិវឌ្ឍខ្លួនឲ្យបានល្អយកពុទ្ធជាគំរូហើយសង្ឃឹមថាប្រជាពលរដ្ឋជាពិសេសយុវជននឹងបានសិក្សាអំពីប្រវត្តិរបស់ព្រះពុទ្ធផងសិក្សាអំពីទីកន្លែងនានារបស់ព្រះសម្មាសម្ពុទ្ធនៅប្រទេសឥណ្ឌាដែលជាដែនកំណើតរបស់ព្រះសម្មាសម្ពុទ្ធផងអញ្ចឹងសូមអរគុណលោកទាវសូមឲ្យវិជាដកនេះដំណើរការបានឲ្យល្អរលូនតទៅ